In our retro review of Deep Space Nine, we have The Forsaken after this. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd, and in The Forsaken, what we have are a group of ambassadors who are visiting Deep Space Nine. These are Federation ambassadors. There's a Bolian, there's a couple of other races I'm not familiar with, and there is Lwaxana Troi from Beta Z. Now, we have seen Lwaxana in several Next Generation episodes where she's obsessed with Picard and he tries his best to get away from her. And in this case, instead of Sisko, she goes after Odo. And this happens because during an incident in Quark's bar where a piece of jewelry is stolen, Odo is able to quickly apprehend who it was that did it and return it to her, and she took special interest in him. Now, in the course of this, what we learn, there are actually two stories. There is the visiting ambassadors, and there is an alien probe that has a computer on it that starts wreaking havoc with the computers on Deep Space Nine. And it's up to O'Brien to try to figure out what's going on and how to fix it. And what this does is it puts Odo and Lwaxana stuck on a turbolift, and it puts the rest of the ambassadors with Bashir, who has been the reluctant recipient of being the tour guide for them. They're all rather difficult to deal with. Are trapped in an area of the station that a plasma leak causes a fire. And so with all of this going on, and we know that from this episode that Odo has to convert to his liquid form every 16 hours. And in the course of being on the turbolift, he reaches that point, and that's a problem. Okay, so that's basically the plot. And of course, you know they're going to resolve all of it. But what this really telling you, what this episode does, is that it gives a lot more backstory to Odo. All we knew was that Odo was a shapeshifter. He was a constable. He has this frenemy with Quark. But we don't know how he came to where he was. And in fact, he does not know how he came into the Alpha Quadrant. But he does know that he was discovered by a Bajoran scientist who looked similar to him. And he spent time trying to look like this scientist, which is the reason he appears like he does in humanoid form. And we also know that he was experimented upon, and although the scientist was benevolent, he, in order to socialize with the other Bajorans, was invited to parties and usually was the entertainment. Become a bird, become a chair, become something else. And he resented that. Now, so it gives a lot of backstory on this, with Lwaxana being kind of the witness to all of this because they're stuck in the turbolift. And then there is the situation of O'Brien working out computer problems. That's kind of interesting. It is just showing how good an engineer O'Brien is. Fairly simple there. But I think really this is Odo's episode, and he plays it very well. There's one scene in it where he goes in and essentially tells Sisko that he's being harassed by Troi, and Sisko treats it as humorous. And in this day and age, that would be very inappropriate. If someone is being sexually harassed, it's no laughing matter. You don't say, well, why not start a romance with her? Well, that's just not something that you think about anymore, and certainly not anything appropriate anymore. That probably would have been cut if the show were being made today. Nevertheless, brilliant acting job by Rene Auberjonois. He, of course, is a good actor, was a good actor anyway, but his annoyance turn discomfort turn trust with Troy is an interesting direction for his character to take. And of course, Majel Barrett as Lwaxana does her usual Annie Mame thing, but also shows that, well, it's all kind of an act. And that's another thing, a nuance there that was very well done. So I'd like to know what you think about this. Please put it below. And if you've not subscribed already, please do so. And click the like button if you will. That'll help us out. And we, of course, will have a original series retro review tomorrow and a Babylon 5 and Lower Decks on Friday. So we hope that you'll stay tuned for all of these things. And until we talk to you next time, don't go far.